That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
A pleasant good Wednesday evening to you. Welcome into the drive here, live from the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. And it kind of feels like a Monday. I know it doesn't probably feel like a Monday to you out there, but we've had a couple of things going on around the radio station. But it is our first show of the week. How are you, West Neighbors?
Doing good. Good to be at the Furniture Factory.
It really is. I had the steak sandwich. I'm telling you.
Yes, very good.
The steak sandwich. There is no bad meal here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We're usually here on Tuesdays, but yesterday we got preempted, and evidently so did the Alabama basketball team, as they fell on the road to Georgia. And wow,
this team just is not playing with a sense of urgency. And you can, look like, they pass the ball. It looks like, hey, you make it, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's taking control of this team.
So the crossover challenge takes place this weekend. And so the road is going to get a tad bit harder for the Crimson Tide coming up over the next 3 games as they play host to Baylor. Then they travel to Auburn. Then they take on Kentucky. So this road is not getting any easier at all.
Got to figure out how to win one of those, right?
You're 4-4 in league play, and you're 13-7 overall. But Auburn won a game last night that they frankly did not play their best game, and kudos to Quanzo Martin and the Missouri basketball bunch and Kobe Brown, a kid from right in our own backyard. It was that was an entertaining game to see Kobe Brown on Jabari Smith for a lot of that game last night. And there might have been maybe a little bit of a blueprint that we will see future opponents.
Well, it'll get harder and harder for Auburn to, as people come up with different ways to stop them. And when you're the number one team, you got to target them. You don't want to be peaking right now, though, right?
No. About a month from now.
I know the guard got hurt. How bad was he hurt? Auburn's guard got hurt in the game.
Don't know that answer.
Which is,
they don't
have a lot. Yeah, they don't have a lot of depth there, and he has been playing very well.
Yeah. So that is a big question mark moving forward. And Auburn, incidentally, plays host to Oklahoma this weekend, and Oklahoma very much a bubble team in the crossover challenge before Auburn plays host to Alabama next Tuesday. So that ought to be a fantastic environment down there on the Plains.
No question about that. I'm going to the game.
I'm thinking about going myself.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
Yeah. We might have to figure out a place maybe to.
I got a place to do the show.
Saddle up and do the show. Anyway, incidentally, speaking of basketball, we've got some basketball for you tonight. It is a big week for the UAH Chargers. Speaking of a young club, a club that has 11 freshmen, they are 4-6 in league play, but they've got 2 home games this week. I think winnable games this week, but they have been, if you love roller coasters, it's been your season for UAH Charger basketball on the ups and downs of this team this year. They play host to Montevallo. Last time we saw Montevallo, they were winners on their home floor over UAH, but since then they have lost 4 straight conference games, and they come in at 6-6. Chargers are at 4-6. Our coverage will start at 7 o'clock. In fact, coming up on Zone 2, it's already streaming right now, but the women's game will tip at 5:30. Austin Coletti will have that play-by-play call as Scott Tyson is on assignment this evening, otherwise known as his wife's birthday. But his words were, there are certain days that you just have to take off.
Smart man.
Yeah. So that is why the very capable Austin Coletti is filling in for Scott Tyson this evening. Had a chance to call the Huntsville High basketball game with Austin last night, and a Huntsville High basketball team, this just in, they're pretty good. They're 4-0 in area play. 2 games left to go.
They're playing a lot of young guys, too, aren't they?
There's a couple of seniors, but yeah, a couple of the youngins out there are big contributors. There's a 9th grader that's starting and a 10th grader that's starting on this basketball team, and so far they're undefeated in the month of January as well. So a big one, incidentally, in area play for those of you listening in the Huntsville area, with Huntsville at Grissom coming up on Friday. Looking forward to that one.
I don't guess Drew will be the scorekeeper for that one.
It is at Grissom. So we'll let Drew give his colorful opinion on how he feels about those people from down on the South Parkway. Incidentally, coming up on the program today, this is our first show of the week. We haven't really talked too terribly much about the NFL playoffs. What a weekend it was in the National Football League. Bradley Bozeman, the former Crimson Tide standout, and he is now up for the Walter Payton Man of the Year award, a prestigious award in the National Football League.
And the Honey Badger is too.
Yes, he is. How about that?
That's awesome. That's a great story. Guy that, faces adversity and turns his life around.
So Bradley Bozeman is going to join us in hour number 2. Later on here in hour number 1, we're going to talk some basketball with Dane Bradshaw on loan from the SEC Network, as there is a smattering of basketball tonight, a total of 4 games in the SEC, beginning with Florida at Tennessee. Vanderbilt is at South Carolina. Arkansas is at Ole Miss. And Texas A&M is at LSU. And, again, Texas A&M went 4-0 out of the gate. They have lost their last 2. We'll see how the Aggies respond in what is a tough test. LSU, all of a sudden, 3-4 in SEC play.
Well, they got a couple of people hurt, and you go on the road and you lose games and you lose your momentum. That's pretty much what happened.
But there is no doubt about what happened to Alabama last night. That was a bad loss.
Yes.
As Georgia gets their first win in SEC play. They're now 1-6.
It's awful
in SEC play.
You could see it coming. I could see it coming. I even said on this show, Alabama's pretty good at home.
Yeah.
Because they have the crowd, obviously.
Yeah.
And they can because they have these low moments, and it takes the crowd to get them out of it. They don't play with any consistency, and they look like they're just going through the motion, like they're a tired basketball team. They look tired.
Well, we're getting ready to flip the calendar over to February next Tuesday. So, still, according to Wes, not basketball season.
February 15th, somewhere around there.
You think so?
Yeah, because
around
every year,
President's Day?
Yeah, because the last 10 games are your most important. There's all these teams don't do diddly and win their last 10 games, and they get in the tournament every year. There'll be 2 or 3 this year. And if you get cold like Alabama is, to me you're flirting, even though they've beaten 2 or 3 top 10 teams. If they continue to lose to people like Georgia, they will not get in. And they how they play these next 3 games is just as important as winning them. I mean, if you win them, obviously, but you better be playing. You don't need to get blown out at this point.
So something else that happened yesterday was the Baseball Hall of Fame announced their class of 1 that came out yesterday.
Why is it just one person?
You have to have 75% of the vote from the Baseball Writers Association of America.
And so they're just going to have one guy get in?
One guy. Big Papi. Big Papi.
Well, he deserves to be in there.
Oh, there's no
question.
doubt. But I just, you know what? As long as I've been in sports talk radio, I'm now to the point of just being amused to the fact that the Baseball Hall of Fame does not have the all-time home run king or the hits leader or the guy with the most Cy Youngs in their Hall of Fame. But, I mean, I'm not promoting cheating. I know it amuses me now, the fact that
the guy bet on a game here or there. I don't, you know.
And he never said, hey, sorry, my bad. That's me. That's on me.
Well, he denied it. I think denied is what got him more than anything.
He denied it, to this day.
No, he says it now. He's admitted he'd done it now.
When did he do that?
Did he not?
I don't even remember that. I don't remember him saying, hey, my bad.
You know, I met him one time. Not a very impressive.
He was around here. He came up for an event,
I
want to say, over in
In
Florence.
Boca.
You met him in Boca.
At a bar.
At a bar.
In Boca.
You and Pete Rose.
Yeah, they're pretty much, there's 2 or 3 people in there. And he had ass written all over him. He was just, somebody came up to him and he was a total asshole to him. I mean, it's not like it was somebody bugging him. It was a guy, he was in a small bar. I mean, it was a very small bar at the Boca Club. And some guy came up and say hey to him, and he was just a jerk. I'll never forget it.
Well, I've got multiple Barry Bonds stories, but I'm just, I mean, I don't have anything nice to say. So on the field, immensely talented. I mean, I realize
he's on the clear.
Well, but you still got to hit the ball.
Yeah,
you still got to hit the ball.
Yeah, I get it. It's on the clear. It morphs the people's head. Have you never noticed that?
Yeah.
Everybody at that time. Notice everybody
something
in
shrinks,
everybody in San
Francisco.
No, everything in San Francisco. Everybody at that time, all of them are bald headed. Go back and look. Every one of them's hair fell out on the clear.
Well,
go look at the football team.
Well,
they're all bald.
The Huntsville Stars, of course, was the feeder team.
They were
to
from
the Oakland
A's.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about San Francisco.
Okay. Well, that's just across the bay. Yeah.
I mean, look at the San Francisco football team. They're all bald-headed. Every one of them, they went bald. Barry Bonds didn't look like a guy to be bald, does he?
When he was in Pittsburgh.
His head grew like crazy. I mean, it's huge.
When he was in Pittsburgh, he was rail thin.
Yeah.
And then he magically went out to the bay.
And he went bald. Go look at everybody on the San Francisco football team, too. I mean, Jerry Rice, all of them were bald. They didn't start out that way.
Why is steroids such a bigger deal in baseball than it is in football?
Well, they were being tested in football, even when I played.
What, Lyle Alzado?
That's what started it.
Yeah.
And I met him, too. Now, he was a nice guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him several times.
Did he throw his helmet
in
at
Boca?
you?
No. That's a great Richard Todd story. That's a great story. It was told here.
Yeah.
But the Lyle Alzado rule. It was against the rules to throw your helmet, but it wasn't against the rules to throw somebody else's helmet.
Yeah.
And he took off tore Richard Todd's helmet off and threw it at him. Yeah.
There's no
but I met him. He was bald because he had brain cancer. And actually, I met him not at the Boca Club, but I was in Boca then too. Actually, I was in West Palm at this conference, and he walked in, and I was with my father, and he came up to my father, and that's how I met him. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, that was cool. Yeah. So.
Yeah, there are certain guys that you're just kind of in awe of if you're just in their presence. I would imagine he's one of them. I mean, just kind of cool to meet.
He's a defensive lineman. He couldn't count to 3. That's what I think. That's kind of
that's your stigma.
That's just my stigma with defensive lineman. If I was playing against this guy, he'd be head slapping me, and he can't count to 3, or he'd be an offensive lineman. That's the way So
yeah.
He was a defensive guy all the way. The only guy I wouldn't say I was in awe of that was just cool meeting, because he was just like you and I sitting down having a meal. and it was at Boots Restaurant here
in Huntsville.
Yeah, Johnny Unitas.
Oh, wow.
He's a big guy.
Really?
Yeah, tall, big guy. Yeah, big old hands.
Never met him.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Met Bill Russell.
That'd be cool.
And he knew he was Bill Russell. But I mean, when you talk basketball with him, that's when he'll loosen up a little bit and just start talking ball.
Yeah, I mean, there's no telling, what all.
Yeah, what he went through. Yeah.
Well, so one thing we didn't get to talk about because Monday we had some technical issues.
Yeah.
With our internet,
and we got Bama
yesterday. But one thing we haven't talked about was the games this weekend.
Yeah.
The NFL games this weekend were all incredible. They were the opposite of the week before, where they were all awful and nobody played very well. I still think it's shocking to me. You go to the Titans game, quarterback turns the ball over 3 times. There's no way they're supposed to lose that game.
Yeah.
They turn the ball. How do you turn the ball over like that? I mean,
Joe Burrow gets sacked 9 times.
9 times, and they win the game.
Yeah. How about our boy Evan McPherson?
Yeah,
Fort Payne, Alabama.
I love it. Yeah, he says he's sitting on the sideline, and the guy looks at him when they get a first down. He says, "Looks like we're about to win the." Before he even runs out there,
we're going to the AFC Championship.
Looks like we're going to the AFC Championship.
Yeah,
I love it.
Cool moment.
Yeah, I wish he'd gone to Alabama with her.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
No, he was asked about being from Alabama and if Alabama recruited him, and he said evidently he went on a recruiting visit. They wanted him to be a punter, and he said, "No, I want to be a field."
Who asked him? Who was the? Yeah.
He didn't.
He didn't say.
He didn't say who at Alabama wanted him to be a punter.
Oh my
but he
goodness.
decided to go to Florida because the
Coach
Gators
Saban fired him Monday. That guy. Anyway, it was fun to see him for Fort Payne do well. I'm just kidding about that.
Yeah.
But the stupidity game was Green Bay. How they were so much the better team, but it's like they were waiting on somebody else to make a play to win the game, including the quarterback.
Yeah.
What is it? I mean, he's acting like he's nonchalant, like we can't lose this game. No way we're going to lose. Let double check, discount double check, and get a punt block. And I was laughing when they blocked the punt. And then everybody looked. The ball took forever to get up. Looked like they were looking for an asteroid. Everybody's twisting and turning. Anyway,
what do you think of overtime rules? Does the
That's
NFL...
what I was getting to at the end.
Yeah.
Listen, my opinion. I love to hear the caller's opinion. They're better than they used to be. There's no good way to settle a tie game other than to settle it. Okay? The old rule, you could kick a field goal and win. I didn't like that.
Yep.
But somewhere down the line, you got to stop somebody. And if you don't stop anybody, it's a team sport. You got offense, defense, special teams.
Both defenses were gassed.
They're gassed, but that's part of the game.
Yeah.
Get some more depth. Georgia beat Alabama because Alabama ran out of players. You get more. Is that Georgia's fault or Alabama's fault? Right?
Just is what it is.
It is what it is. That's what it is. That's my opinion. Now, I get it. It's not fair, this or that. You can't play forever. It's overtime.
No, you really can't.
No, so I like the rule. It's better than the old one. You just had to kick a field goal. So pretty much, if you won the coin toss, if you're Green Bay in that game, you might have been better in giving the ball away, right? Because San Francisco would have never scored.
Jimmy G would have thrown another interception.
Yeah, that was so. It just depends on the game. The other thing, the stupid thing was, okay. So why did Kansas City? They moved the ball with 13 seconds, 2 plays.
Yep.
Why did they do that? Because they're scared of number 10. Because they know if he touches the ball, he's
trouble.
He could take it and nobody can catch him. So why not squib kick it with 13 seconds left when he's not on the field? Then you get one play and it's a Hail Mary.
Yep.
But
have you seen it was the second play of that 13 seconds.
Stupid. What are they doing?
When he goes up to the line, have you heard the enhanced sound where Patrick Mahomes is saying, check, 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 Kels, let's go, Kels. He said, let's go, Kels.
Well, yeah, because there's no safety help over there. Somebody lined up wrong. And the guy doesn't even bump him. He doesn't hold him up at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
I mean, just a free release right down the middle of the field and throw. I mean, they're lined up wrong. Have to be. But they're lined up wrong because they're scared of number 10. So if you're scared of a guy, and it's legit. He just went.
Yeah.
I mean, he burned the boy from Alabama was a walk-on, Wallace.
Levi. Yeah, there's no doubt about that.
So squib kick it.
Yeah.
Squib kick it right in the middle of the field. You got to pick it up and run it. It's going to take 5 or 6 seconds, and you get one play. That's it. Number 10's not on the field. Why they didn't do that, I'll never know. It makes no sense whatsoever. But, I mean, so, I heard they didn't get a chance in overtime. They say, they didn't. They had a chance. They could have stopped them, and then they can kick a field goal and win.
The defense had their opportunity.
Yeah. All they had to do is stop them, and then they can kick a field goal to win. So, I mean, I just thought that
it was a great weekend of football.
Yes, it was. It was a great day of football. I mean, you look at the way that Tampa Bay did everything in the world to lose that game.
And then came
back and fought, and they played really good in the fourth quarter. And why are they doing a safety blitz in that situation? I don't know. I can't. The play call, I felt sorry for the safety. I mean, he had no prayer on the ball, and they had him at where to go. And they recognized it. I mean, you got to be happy for the quarterback,
Matthew Stafford.
You got to been in Detroit.
Did you see I'm sure you're not on Twitter anymore, but
the guy from the Detroit fans cheering for him.
Well, no, it was the SEC Network tweeting out Georgia beats Michigan again. So there was that.
It was. I forget Tom Brady played at Michigan. It was so long ago.
Yeah.
I was at his last college game, unfortunately.
Long time ago.
Well, the other thing we hadn't talked about is just Jermaine Burton, dude. Going to Portal is they're
Bama.
Yeah, he's the best receiver Georgia had. He's a good player.
Yeah.
And my deal is he thinks he can be a number 1 pick. And he's better than some. Now, I don't understand it. I don't think he should leave, personally. But all these Georgia fans been all upset in arms about it. Weren't upset when Alabama players were going to Georgia. And the argument was, I heard the one guy argument was, well, why is he leaving a team he just beat? Well, hell, they're 1-8. It ain't like they've got some great record against Alabama. They're 1 in their last 8 and haven't beaten them. They're just 50-50 this year. So
there was a couple of tweets last night. One from at UGA Athletics, 2022 equals the year Georgia beats Alabama. And they went through the list of women's basketball, men's basketball, football. So
had to come sooner or later. It's a percentage thing. It's like I say it's the pig in the what is it? Finds an acorn every now and then. Blind pig. It's the blind pig deal.
Blind squirrel?
That's blind pig. Finds an acorn. Blind squirrels get hit by cars.
Well, you don't have to worry about any of that here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, as we are set up shop here till 7 o'clock, and let's go ahead and take our first time out. Phone lines open to you at 256-576-4977.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The kitchen is the heart of any home. It's where the family gathers. It's where kids discover old recipes and make them their own. Just starting out or just now getting started on the dream kitchen you've always wanted?
I'm Chris Haygood, and from all of us here at Bob Wallace Appliance to the home builders and the homeowners of the Huntsville area, a heartfelt thank you for buying local. We're in Huntsville, Florence, and Coleman, and online at bobwallaceappliance.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Switching season is here at WOW. Get Internet 100 for just $19.99 a month and get your first month free. Plus, learn how to get up to $300 on us. Sign up at wowway.com today. Wow. Limited to new customers with auto pay and paperless billing. Offer subject to change. Restrictions and terms apply.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
Hey men, this is John Dees, pastor of Cross Point Church. Whether your own marriage is like 1st and goal from the 1-yard line or 4th and 15 from your own 2, there is something to be learned which will help us grow and our wives to grow closer to God and to each other and to finish the game well. So if you are married or single again, our new marriage series, I Do, Building Our Marriage, is for you. Join us this Sunday at Cross Point Church at 9 o'clock or 10:30, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison, or check us out at cpcfamily.org.
Here in the South, we like our traditions, like Alabama football and tailgating on fall Saturdays. And the best way to start your tailgate? Visit Brooks & Collier to see North Alabama's largest selection of premium grills and smokers. Big Green Egg, Blaze, and Traeger. Everything you need for that perfect tailgate. Check out our rubs and seasonings. We have a full wall to please any taste palate. Visit Brooks & Collier at 813 Meridian Street or at brooksandcollier.com. An Alabama tradition for 75 years. Roll Tide.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at woodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Back here on The Drive. Good to be here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. If you have yet to make your Valentine's Day plans, you need to do it here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. It's sneaking up, boys and girls. Just give them a call here to make your reservations here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, 256-539-8001, 256-539-8001. If you're in the car and you can't remember that, just head over to their website, FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com. So you talked about the overtime rules. Well, you're not the only one weighing in on overtime rules in the National Football League. Larry David, the noted comedian and star of Curb Your Enthusiasm, He was asked about the NFL's overtime rules.
The overtime rules are so ridiculous. So I win a coin toss, and I score a touchdown, and the other team, they're done. Why do they not have a chance? So now a coin toss is deciding the winner of a game. Nothing makes sense in this world. Give the other team a chance to come back. It's just not fair. Let's do what's fair.
They could stop him. That's not I bet it's 50-50 who wins the game on the coin toss.
What, all time?
Yeah. Not all time, since they changed the rules.
Oh, okay.
Because I know it was more than that when you just got to kick a field goal. And now these guys can kick field goals as far as they will let them try. I mean, these guys' legs are incredible. I mean, they just,
Yeah, Buckner, that guy.
Yeah, well,
with the Chiefs.
When they said, but who's the guy for the San Francisco? I said, there's no way he's going to
Robbie Gould.
Robbie Gould. And then he goes, he used to play for the Chicago Bears.
Yep.
I said, that's done.
Yep. It's old hat.
Yeah, this is nothing to him. You can kick one in that stadium.
So even Larry David weighing in on the overtime.
That's not true, though. That's not the case.
The defense definitely has an opportunity to stop the offense.
Yeah, I mean, they stopped him most of the game.
It was so cool to see that back and forth, and Allen in particular, Jared Allen playing well
but, I mean,
for the Buffalo Bills.
I think that both quarterbacks played incredible in the fourth quarter because,
yeah.
I mean, they had 5 lead changes in the fourth quarter. It's crazy.
Coming up in about 10 minutes' time, we're going to talk some SEC basketball with Dane Bradshaw. We'll talk some NFL and maybe get a thought or two about the overtime from Bradley Bozeman, current Baltimore Raven. And
it looked like at the beginning of the season they were the team to beat, and of course they had injuries. The quarterback got hurt, and I don't think he was ever 100%.
Didn't seem
and
that
then
way.
Bradley he played guard last year, ended up playing center this year.
Yep.
I know they had some injuries on the offensive line too. They were fun to watch, but I want to ask him about the Miami game when they did that weird defense. Yeah, because I mean.
It was cover zero for a lot of it.
Yeah, they were cover zero, and they just had 4 guys basically that lined up 7 yards off the ball, and they were just saying, hey, throw it, and they couldn't do it.
Other headlines of the day, it is officially official through the paperwork. Oklahoma State has indeed hired Derrick Mason from Auburn as their defensive coordinator. It feels like Auburn took a hit on that.
Yes. I don't know if that's the correct way to put it. I think that Derrick Mason left Auburn because
there's no way to sugarcoat it.
Yeah, I just think he left Auburn and went to Oklahoma State. And
does that say more about Gundy? Or
I don't think it has anything to do with Gundy. Well, I think it has to do with apparently people are saying that Coach Harsin's hard to work for. Now, to be fair, people say the same thing about Coach Saban.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to relate this.
But I heard the same. We've heard the same thing about Harsin when he came down here from Boise, that he wasn't the easiest guy to work for.
Right. And I think if you've been a head coach like both those coordinators have been before,
you're used to running your own way.
And Gundy will stay out of the way of the defensive coordinator. I think so. I don't want to say this is negative on Harsin. Harsin has to get his own thing going down there.
Yeah.
He just needs to do it in a hurry. Harsin's thing is I think he's a good coach. I've always worried about him recruiting, and that's where he has to – I mean, they need players down there. I think he did a good job overall with the team until they started having injuries. When a quarterback got hurt, they couldn't overcome that. And now the quarterback's gone. So we'll see, in the end we'll find out what the real story is on all of this. We always do. But, my sources saying that these coaches say that he's hard to work for.
Ole Miss has hired Arkansas cornerbacks coach Sam Carter. That came down yesterday. Some other news, Arkansas has hired Marshall cornerback coach Dominique Bowman for the same position now that Carter left Arkansas to go to Ole Miss. So some shuffling there inside the conference as Ole Miss.
Everybody swaps coaches and players.
Yep. It's that time.
Yeah. I mean, it's
coaches and players.
Yep.
It's sentences I never thought I'd say about 5 years ago. I just
see, to me, like Sanders going from Alabama to
Drew Sanders,
and going from Alabama to Arkansas. I mean, he's going to be playing against his teammates.
Yep.
Next year, that'd be weird. Now that would be weird to me.
There's no doubt about that.
I mean that Now if you play Georgia, you're playing them in the championship game. You've played 13 games or whatever, or 12 games, however many, and then you go to the conference game. That kind of different because it's almost been like it seemed like 2 years. 1 year seems like two, and you're playing a game every week, and you're getting prepared for it in the spring, and then you go to summer. So to me, that's kind of different. But on this regular schedule, I don't know when Arkansas is, but that would be strange to me. I wish that's one thing they made an exception for the portal, that you couldn't go to. I mean, this team's been paying for that guy's school for 2 years, and now they got to play against him. If you're on a regular schedule, team schedule, I don't think you ought to be able to go to a school that plays on the. I've said that from the beginning. I still believe it.
Brian Billick, Brian Billick is in the news. The former Super Bowl champion, winning head coach. He has been hired as an offensive analyst to head coach Herm Edwards at Arizona State.
Well, they need all the help they can get.
I think Paul Tyson went to Arizona State. We'll see. Wish him well.
And
before we go any further, there are certain dates that stick out in this state, and January 26th is one of them.
39 years ago.
39 years
Coach
ago.
Bryant passed away.
Crazy.
Remember where I was. Crazy.
Hard to believe it has been that long.
We were in the off season, and I could hardly walk. I remember that.
And we 2 years ago is when Kobe Bryant passed away.
It seems like last year. 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I remember them telling me Coach Bryant died. I was kind of shocked because I'd seen him the day before. And we were doing the off season, and I was with Al Miller and Kent Johnson, Kent Johnson's good friends with Brett Favre.
Yep.
And those guys were the two strength coach, and they said that they were going to make my calves like my daddy's, which is an impossibility because
those were tree trunks.
Those were tree trunks, and that was day 2, and I can hardly walk.
We do need to take our final time out. Certainly your phone calls are welcome. Coming up on the other side, we're going to talk some SEC basketball with Dane Bradshaw.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Hey, this is Justin with the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. We'd like to invite you to North Alabama's premier patio bar and grill, where at the factory, we have something going on each and every night. Monday night, steak night. Tuesday night, karaoke. Wednesday night, the Jeep community comes out for Jeep Jam. Thursday, it's bike night, the biggest in the valley. Friday and Saturday, live concerts on our 4,000-square-foot patio, along with drink specials and a beautiful staff. What are you waiting on? We will see you at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill.
Joe Biden's disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan left Americans behind and cost the lives of 13 service members. Black Hawk Down veteran Mike Durant is alive today because his brothers refused to leave him behind. Durant has had it with the career politicians.
Why does Joe Biden disgust me? 13 dead in Afghanistan. 13 more Gold Star families because of him. Biden has spent his whole life in politics. And when our men and women came home draped in the flag, he had somewhere else he wanted to be. Time's up for Joe Biden.
President Biden is the one that deserves the shame. He's more concerned about his watch.
He obviously was doing the motion of checking his watch. I saw it.
Many of them said he didn't just do it once. He did it with almost every single family.
Send Joe Biden a message. Vote Mike Durant in the Republican primary.
I'm Mike Durant, a candidate for Senate, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Durant for Senate.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
A wise man once said, "If you take care of old folks and children, everything in the middle will take care of itself."
Hi, I'm Danny Aldridge, lawyer in Alabama and Tennessee. In the next 20 years, the number of those folks over 65 years of age will more than double. In our golden years, the most important goal is to be treated with dignity and have control over doing what makes you grateful with those you love. At the Aldridge Law Firm and the Legal Town Center, we're dedicated to help you with these goals, and we'll be there when life throws you those inevitable curveballs. Let us assist you with your legal needs, whatever they may be or become. You may reach us by phone at 256-534-3188 or online with Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Just remember, we're here to help. Whether it's personal injury, wrongful death, fraud and cheat, or estate planning made complete, we're here to help.
Get your Ford your way today. Hey folks, Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and we've got F-150s in stock right now. We have F-150s on the ground so you can climb behind the wheel and take a test drive today. Plus, at Woody Anderson Ford, our 2021 F-150s come with $1,000 in bonus cash, along with financing as low as 0% for up to 60 months with your good credit. This offer ends January 31st. To be clear, these F-150s are in stock today, ready for your garage tonight. Now let's talk about making a custom factory order. Not only is there no extra cost to custom order, but you'll get $1,000 off MSRP on top of any additional factory rebates on 2022 F-150, Explorer, Ranger, Expedition, and Mustang. Go to WoodyAndersonFord.com and you'll see how easy it is. And speaking of easy, our service department is now offering free pickup and delivery when it's time for your next Ford service. Ask about it at Woody Anderson Ford, the corner of Jordan and Sparkman. Look forward to seeing you.
Sitting here with Mark Kent of Southern Fidelity Mortgage Group of Huntsville. Mark, do you help pre-qualify people?
We pre-qualify people all the time, Wes. As a matter of fact, I love having them coming in here because when they come in and they pre-qualify, they can leave my office knowing exactly how much they can buy and have no worries.
Mark, tell me about your rates and pricing.
Well, Wes, this is something we're really, really proud of. Long story short is, I love being able to provide the best pricing in town. Honestly, I cannot tell you the last time I lost a deal to either rate or pricing, something I'm very proud of.
So what all financing options do you have, Mark?
We do several different things. If you're purchasing a home, we can handle the purchase. If you're wanting to refinance your home, of course, rates are at the lowest they've been in the last 3 years. We do a lot of refinancing. If you're building a home, we can handle the entire process from breaking ground to the final close.
Do you sleep with your phone?
Wes, if you want to reach me, you can call me at my office phone, which is 256-562-1000. But always remember, I sleep with my cell phone at night. That number is 256-656-5936.
Want to save some money?
I can take money and I can make it into more money.
Just check out our zone deals online at 977ESPN.com. We are 977 ESPN The Zone.
Here at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. Is time to talk a little round ball. After all, we have the number one team in the land here in the state of Alabama. Only natural to talk some basketball with Dane Bradshaw on loan from the SEC Network. And Dane, I'm going over your career highlights from Vol Nation. So you pulled down 12 rebounds twice in your career, once against Vanderbilt. Who was the other one that you pulled 12 boards on?
I don't know, man. It shouldn't have taken you too long to go through any highlights. We had a few good moments, but I held my own on the glass. I was more known for not letting my guy get it than I was putting up double-double.
You were one of those guys running around, butting them all the way under their goal.
Yeah, that's right.
So let's start with Alabama, the roller coaster ride that is the Crimson Tide this year. A spectacular first semester, But, wow, have they been inconsistent here in the month of January.
Yeah, tough thing to figure out. I had not had them in person until the other night against Georgia. And, I can understand why Coach Oates is so frustrated. I mean, everything he talked about and shoot around to us of just, got to have the defense first mentality. It gets talked about the blue-collar points that they track, the consistency at the point guard position, decision-making. But really the last thing he talks about is the three-point shooting. But, if they get more stops, then they'll get more looks from three. But it's just one of those teams that a year ago, all the things that would go on and on about them missing with Herb Jones and Petty and those guys, and it is tough to replace that. But it also felt like whenever they made a three last year, you were just like waiting for that second and third. You were just waiting for this 9-0 run to come at some point in the game where they'd catch fire. Even if teams could keep them in check for a while, there's always going to be that 2-minute stretch where they just really took off. And it doesn't seem like the opposing team is on their heels nearly as much this year. And a lot of that is because the tempo is not where they want it to be, because they're just not getting enough stops in order to push the tempo. And so I think a lot of times that intimidation factor, if you will, isn't quite what it was a year ago, where teams just thought, oh, boy, here they go. They're about to go off on us just because they simply haven't consistently this year.
Well, the schedule does Nate Oates no favors, as you well know, Dane, with Baylor and then at Auburn and then Kentucky. I mean, this is going to be a heck of a week and a half stretch.
It will be, and you hope, if you're Nate Oates and the staff, that you look back on this in March and say, hey, it was worth it. But the interesting part is, and we covered it some on our game, that they seem to play up and down to their competition quite a bit too. They with some of those top teams that you talked about, I wouldn't be surprised at all. As odd as it seems to be, like, wait a minute, you mean you can't beat winless in the SEC Georgia, but you're going to have a chance to get against Auburn? Well, yeah, I think so, just because they do have talent. They are a little bit unpredictable, but their ceiling is still high, and they've got some great athletes, and they tend to get up big for the big games and play better, as Javon Quinterly and Jade Shackelford alluded to, maybe a little bit more when their back's against the wall. So frustrating as a coach, but I can see them still being very competitive. I think their chances for winning the SEC are certainly out, and I think that's for just about every team, because Auburn has it rolling so well, and their schedule is actually really favorable. Aside from just how well Auburn's playing, when I look at their schedule, they just have a little bit easier road to protect that big lead they have right now in conference standings.
But now, do you think that that's leadership, partly in the current leaders of the team, when you play to your competition? Level competition?
I think it is, where guys are in a new position this year, where Herb Jones, and they even talked about, look, Alex Reese was a vocal guy last year. Jordan Bruner was a very good locker room presence. He was the Ivy League transfer that, came in, got hurt some, but still was one of those guys. And so it allowed, Quinterly, Shackelford, and others to, kind of be behind the scenes a little bit, and they could come into their own. But that was one of the question marks I had for this Alabama team, was Quinterly was so good towards the end of last year. But could he take on the leading role as the, facilitator and the guy that they look to down the stretch? So it's not that he can't, but he's lost some confidence right now. And he's lost a little bit defensively. His shot's not going in. He's turning it over. And he can still be one of the best players on the court, if not the best, when he's at his best. But the last game, there's 3 minutes to go, and you'd like to close out the game with your all SEC point guard, and Nate Oates went to J.D. Davison. He was like, look, I got to have somebody on the court that I trust is going to turn it over and is going to make the right play. And so that's concerning as we're getting closer and closer to February and not much time left in the season.
Before we get to Auburn, there's a couple of teams that are just kind of – it's tough to pinpoint who they are, and that is LSU, Texas A&M, and Arkansas. Where do you want to go first?
I'll take Arkansas. You can take me up on that one.
What is your read on the Hogs?
So they have had some injuries. They do have J.D. Note at the point guard spot. He's more of a scoring guard, but he's learning how to be a facilitator. And they got off to a really tough start in conference play. And you talking about not having an identity. They weren't defending. They weren't shooting well. Coach Musk was having an extremely short leash. He was benching starters left and right. And now all of a sudden they're starting to find their identity. And they've got that 7-man rotation that he likes to have. And they're playing with confidence. And, they were 0-3 to start league play, but they went out and played extremely well. At Missouri doesn't sound like much of a win, but they won by 40, and they just started playing better basketball. And they've got a really good opportunity game I've got Saturday in the SEC Big 12 Challenge against West Virginia. So I think it looked like it was going south fast for Arkansas, but the way they're playing now, I see them staying on the right side of the bubble and being inside that or being part of the selection Sunday come March.
LSU, that's another team that is getting harder to read what they are exactly. I saw a lot of that game at Alabama where it felt like that was a must-win for Bama. But, I mean, it feels like they're not as consistent defensively as they have been in the early January.
Yeah, I think LSU's biggest issue is that they're not nearly as talented as they were in years past, where they beat you with some great one-on-one guys, and they weren't that committed defensively, but they could get away with it because they could score 80, 85 points a game. Whereas now they hang their hat on defense, but their point guard goes out. Xavier Pinson, he's their starting point guard, the transfer from Missouri, who's done a really good job for them. There's nothing on the stat sheet that just totally jumps out at you, but he's just solid, double-digit scorer. Assist to turnover ratio is good, and you lose your primary ball handler. And Derrick Days, their other probably their best front court player outside of Tari Eason, the Cincinnati transfer, but he's rolled his ankle and he's been in and out of the lineup recently. So they had the toughest January schedule of anybody in the SEC. And when I talked to Will Wade about it, he's like, look, it all evens out in the end. I'm fine, with tough sledding in January, and we get a little bit more favorable schedule, in January, and more favorable schedule in February. And so, but to have that tough of an SEC slate and have two of your best players in and out of the lineup, I think that's the bigger reason why you're seeing them lose some games more than, them just losing themselves or identity or anything like that.
Talking with Dane Bradshaw right now on loan from the SEC Network, and let's save the best for last, and that is the Auburn Tigers. And last night, boy, I mean, to play that way and get defended that way by Missouri, but still come out with a W. How good is this Auburn basketball team?
Man, it was, I certainly have followed Bruce for a long time, played for him for 2 years. The year after I left, Tennessee became number one in the country after beating Memphis. And 2 days later, they went on the road to Vanderbilt and lost. And you just felt like that was about to happen again here. And gosh, it was, and part of me thought, you know what, it's a pretty, all things considered, that's a pretty quick turnaround. A Tuesday game on the road at Columbia, trying to get your team to take them as seriously as you'd like them to. And, it's probably human nature. And with the early game they had against Kentucky, the students were back. I'm sure they had a little bit of fun, celebrating that win. And, and so if I'm Bruce Pearl, I'm like, man, I wish we were playing on Wednesday instead of Tuesday. But they didn't, and they found a way to make enough plays down the stretch. And that's what's going to come with being number one. The target was already on their back. It's going to be even more so now.
So is the formula to beat Auburn just hoping that it's an off-night shooting? Is that best-case scenario?
You got to have some guys. It's much easier said than done that just can guard the ball and contain dribble penetration. Auburn just gets so many of their looks off assisted baskets where you see it over and over again. Wendell Green or whoever will get into the lane. He draws help. He throws up to Kessler. Or somebody comes and helps, and they try to take away the lob from Kessler.